Welcome back to the PO3 Podcast. My name is Marcus Marx.
Just John. Now, what's up, guys? Just John here. What's up?
What's going on? I just decided, he put his shades on, so I decided 3 seconds before we did this to put on my shades.
With it. Oh, man. Can't get them up. Never mind.
What do you think
I'm
about...
going to take them off now.
No. What do you think about the people that wear them inside?
I feel pretty stupid, so I think they're stupid.
Yeah, I always say that. It should be a rule. No shirt, no shoes, and don't wear your glasses inside.
Yeah.
Or else you can't come in.
Definitely need to. You know, if I ever own a building for whatever reason, that's going to be a sign I'm going to have made. No sunglasses allowed inside.
These are very nice sunglasses. I bought these at Macy's, and they're real Ray-Bans, and I haven't worn them yet. And I've had them for like a year.
What?
Yeah. I really don't like wearing, like I want to like sunglasses and watches and stuff, but I can't. I don't.
I love glasses.
Like I don't wear them. I mean, the furthest I'll go is this chain right here that my fiance got me for my birthday. So and that's why I wear it. You know, it's sentimental.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show you something that's pretty funny. I was going to show you it.
I already know what you're going to show me. I already know what you're going to show me.
On the last podcast. I feel like...
What was it? Pimp juice? No.
I feel like I look pale.
Pimp juice. Oh my God.
No, here, hold on.
It was,
so this tape recorder right here is from...
Swag Juice.
Is from... what year was that?
I don't know. 09, 08.
So to like 2008, 2009. And I used to throw on crappy beats, and we used to sit in my truck when there was nothing to do on the weekends, and I would freestyle rather to my crappy beats. And on one occasion, we recorded it, and I've had this for years, and it's on here. So
Swag Juice.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Listen to this one. I just
shut up, bitch.
Bitch.
That's all I recorded on there.
Shut up, bitch.
Okay, so here's the... Look at this dude. John, that's John.
I was in the back seat, huh? Yeah, I was in the back seat.
Andrew was in the back seat.
I was. No, I think Mikey's in the front. You still have that beat?
No.
Mikey?
Yeah, that's Mikey.
Out the fucking hood.
Oh yeah, Andrew in the back. Ooh. In my cup now.
This is what we were doing, bro. This is what we were doing. Nothing productive, y'all.
Idiots.
Oh man, good times.
But yeah, I've had this.
Never lose that.
No, I've had it for a long time.
If I die before you, please play that at my funeral.
And we should do like a reunion because you can put a mic in there and you can actually re-record to it. I don't know. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, in my cup now.
I don't know how I never lose stuff like that. I always keep stuff like my iPod and stuff like that.
Mine got stolen. Otherwise, I would still have it. But yeah. Stupid Kool-Aid guy.
Good times, man.
Yeah.
Mike, that's why we were making fun of our friend Mikey for rapping.
Come out the motherfucking hood. Like, what? You ain't live in no fucking hood, bro.
Y'all know me, Mikey B. You know he forgot OTB. You remember that? Who? Oh, Aaron started that, right?
I think it was him, Aaron, and maybe a few others.
But hey, actually, he like really rode. Like he was, yeah, like he was like shredding, right?
Mm-hmm. He did races
like
and
he
shit.
really did it, and like he would catch air, like type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like real shit.
He was a real racer.
But then he's what would it stand for? On the beach or something?
Over the bars.
Over the bars? OTB. That's pretty dope too. Because he would like fly, you would crash and then fly over the bars. That's why he called it that, right?
Yeah.
I remember for a long time I wanted to put a big old sticker on my truck. They had it.
OTB?
I did though. He gave me a sticker
It was,
and
it was the same size as the Ford emblem, right?
yeah. And it went right over it. So now when I look for my truck that I sold, I look for the emblem, but they probably took it off. For the longest time though, I had that emblem on my.
I remember that truck, dude.
I remember when I first got it, I pulled it up to Starbucks where you guys were hanging out at, and I pulled it up, and for whatever reason, you guys popped the hood and just looked at it because it was a V8, and then one of you guys got into it in the truck and like revved the shit out of it, and then we went on like a cruise, and we literally did nothing, and just like I was all happy because I had a truck, and because you guys already had cars and everything.
Yeah, we were happy that our boy got wheels, dude.
And then Andrew had Lance, and then you had a Mustang,
Yeah.
the red Mustang with the horses that you took off.
God, yes, dude.
And Mikey had his truck still.
Still has his truck.
Still has that truck. That thing's a trooper. Wonder how many miles it's got.
For a truck that old, not as many as you think.
But anyway, yeah. We left off on the last podcast talking about like police and how not all of them are out to get you. And you were telling a story where they could have easily wrote you a citation based off, the book, right? But spirit of you called it spirit of the law. He let you go. So he made a decision or a conscious choice to either give you a ticket or just go by the book, right? And we started talking about this because the topic came up of like, you don't want policemen to be robots.
Yes, you do not. In my opinion, you do not. It would not be good.
No, yeah, because then everything like everyone would be in debt from the amount of tickets that they received.
That and everyone's going to jail.
Yeah, everyone would be in jail. They'd be under the jail. No, I wanted to tell a story of like an instance where because I remember when you were talking, I was like, dude, I have so many instances where I could have easily just gotten locked up, like legit. And then the cops would just let me go like every single time. But on one occasion, they had me dead to rights. And Mom, if you're watching this or anybody, turn it off now. You don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this. So it was one of those nights where you guys went out to Old Town Saloon.
Okay.
And you remember we were always going to Old Town and stuff?
Yeah, we went there a handful of times.
Okay, so you remember when I had the BMW?
Yes.
Stick shift?
Mhm.
Well, I used to love driving fast. And so one night you guys were over at Old Town Saloon and I was a town away. It was it like 15-minute drive?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on my way out to Fresno and I'm getting off the freeway. And right there on like off the 180 when you get off on Clovis, right there by like a little bit before City Lights, like a few lights down.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're getting off and so there's a stoplight, there's a number of stoplights. So I'm getting off the freeway and I'm texting at the same time. Let me rewind. Before I even left Sanger, I went to the store and picked up a 32 of Bud Ice. Remember when I used to drink those?
Yeah.
Everyone used to clown me for drinking those, but my cousin showed me them, and I loved drinking Bud Ice. Like, it was just a thing. Like, it reminded me of my cousin and everything, so I love drinking Bud Ice. So I picked up a 32 of Bud Ice. Horrible mistake. Right off the bat, right? This is like, you don't do that, but this night I decided to, and I know you guys will hate me for this, drink and drive. But I've learned my lesson since. I have never done this since. Pick up a 32 of Bud Ice. And
that was the first lesson. Don't do that again. Bud Ice is trash.
Yeah, don't do that again. Hey, man.
I'm not talking about the legal stuff. I'm talking about the trash-ass beer you were drinking, bro.
If I could, I would still drink Bud Ice. I can't drink right now, but like if I like it. I still enjoy it. Like, it doesn't bother me.
He lost credibility with me.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so that was my first mistake. I hop in my car and I start drinking. And I wanted to get a good buzz on before I got over there. So I probably drank halfway down. And keep in mind, it's cold, so it's sweating, you know? And I'm on my way over there. I get off the freeway, and apparently I ran 2 red lights, which I didn't realize that I did because I was texting. So I was horrible, dude. So I was speeding on top of it. So I'm driving. Apparently I'm running red lights. And then all of a sudden, it's not funny though.
Apparently I'm just running red lights.
But I'm texting you guys, be like, hey, I'm on my way, or I'm texting somebody I'm going to meet up. I don't know. Like, I don't remember. And all of a sudden, I'm right there by City Lights, and I see, the lights, and I'm getting pulled over. I was like, shit. I got a beer right here. I've got a little buzz on. I'm sure my breath stinks. I had no insurance on my car. My license was expired. So it's just all bad. And apparently I was running red lights. So they pull me over. Not 1 cop, but 2 cops. And I'm right there in City Lights. It's a strip club parking lot. So I pull into there. 1 cop on this side, 1 cop on the other. And I had 10 windows, so I rolled them down. And I got the beer sitting right there. I think, did I? Yeah, I got the beer sitting right there because they were already looking. They were like close up on me. And they're all, hey, you ran a couple red lights back there? It was girls. 2 girls. Do you know you ran a couple red lights back there? I was like, nah. She's all, you were swerving quite a bit too. And you were speeding. She's all, what's going on? What's the deal? I'm surprised they didn't pull me out the car right there. So I told my story. I was like, in my head, I was panicking. But on the outside, I had to keep it cool. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I dropped my phone. My girlfriend, she called me with an emergency. She said that she needs to go to the hospital right now. So I tried to get over here as quick as I could. I dropped off my friends, and I wanted to get over here as quick as I could. And they're like, okay, well, have you been drinking? I was like, nah. They're like, well, it smells like alcohol in here, and there's a beer. There's a beer right there, like in the cup holder. I was like, that's not mine. So my girl called me, and we were in my car drinking, and I was about to drop them off. So when I got that call, I just said, get the hell out of my car. And I took off, and I didn't realize that the beer was right there. So by the time I got over here, it was too late. I wasn't really concerned about the alcohol in my car. And I'm lying my ass off. Like, none of this happened. I was just anxious to get to where my friends were, and I was drinking. And so I told him that, right? I was like, it's not my beer, okay? It's not mine. Meanwhile, it's sweating, and it's halfway it's halfway done. They could probably smell the alcohol on my breath. And her follow-up question was, okay, let me see your license and your registration. I was like, okay. So I handed it to her, and she's like, your insurance you don't have insurance on the car, and your license is expired, right? I was like, I know, I'm sorry. I just got laid off from right here. And I actually did. From Schneider Electric and this and that. I haven't had time to pay my bill, but I wasn't really concerned about that. When I just wanted to get to my girl and take her to the hospital because she's got colitis. And the cop was like, colitis. And she looked over at the other cop, and the other cop's all, like confirming it's real, I was like, I'm sorry, it's this, intestinal disease, and I really need to just get over there to her, and that's why I was speeding and this and that. And then, for whatever reason, man, they just let me go. They're like, consider yourself lucky tonight. We're gonna let you go. And so, I was speeding. I ran red lights. I didn't have insurance on my car. DUI. Open alcohol container in the car. And still they let me go. Oh, and then too, they asked me, was like, do you smoke? Because your eyes look a little red. I was like, nah, I smoke cigarettes. So, I don't know if you know, but like people who smoke cigarettes don't really smoke weed. It's like one or the other. So I was like, but I wasn't smoking though. I wasn't. They thought I was high or some shit. And I wasn't high. But easily could have just got locked up, car towed, all that, dude. And
yeah.
Like, I'm blown away that I did not receive a DUI. I don't know if it had to do with the fact that they were girls or my story, the way I told the story at the time.
It was probably a very convincing story.
It was very convincing because I put on my face, dude. I was like, I have to make this work because I'm screwed right now. Like, I knew I was dead to rights. And I'm not going to run from the cops. Like, that's just going to make it worse. I'm not going to get away. Like, I know I'm not going to get away. I knew that already. I've seen it done. I've seen cops. You never get away. I had a fucking BMW with stick shift, a 6-speed. That was pretty fast. I hit 160 in it before. And I still wasn't gonna take my chances.
You can't run a radio.
You cannot run a radio, and there's a lot of lights, and I didn't really plan on. I didn't want to run any more lights. It's not funny though. It's really not funny. It's stupid, and like people are probably.
So I mean,
drunk driving is not something that.
No, definitely.
You don't
want
to joke about that.
When I was working at the jail, you know, I actually had like I found a new respect for CHP, dude, because they would bring people in. I mean, at all hours of the day, all hours of the night. You know, DUI. Some worse than others, but when they bring the people in, dude. And I'm booking a person and they're sitting directly in front of me and I'm asking them questions and they're passing out in between questions and falling out of their chair because they're so intoxicated. And then I look at their charges. I'm like, you're here for your deuce. So they found you behind the wheel of a vehicle, yet you can't even answer my questions. You're passing out in between them and you're falling out of your seat. But yet they found you behind the wheel of a vehicle. Mind blowing. That you know, I've done my share of, you know, drinking and driving, you know, when I was younger and stuff. And I put that on my background, so they're aware that I've done that.
It's known.
But, yeah, dude, like I don't do it. That's why, like, a lot of the times I don't drink when I know I have to drive. Like, if I do have a beer or two, dude, I'm sitting put for at least 4 or 5 hours, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, one, I lose my job. And then, two,
you're endangering other people.
Dude, but like bad, bro. Again, you always hear that the drunk person's always the one that lives in these terrible crashes, and the innocent people that were coming back from the beach or a family gathering, all 5 of them perish. And it's like never like, oh, well, they died. It was like, oh, yeah, they burned for 4 hours and they had to use, you know,
the jaws of life.
That, and then they couldn't even identify them through dental records because like once the teeth get to a certain
they do this
temperature
popcorn thing.
Yeah, so I was like, so it's just like it's they always die in this like very horrendous way, you know.
And then the stupid driver is always all right.
He's like got like 4 scratches, you know. So I don't want to be that person, man. It's you know, life's too. We're fragile beings when you think about it. It doesn't take very much to kill a person, you know what I'm saying? And
no, yeah, it's poorly designed when it comes to resilience.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, going and being in a freaking 2-ton bullet, you know what I'm saying? And being intoxicated and stuff, they don't work out too well. So
yeah, but
yeah, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
it's been good. It's been a long time since I've been.
Yeah, that's good. I would hope so. And same here. I don't drink and drive, you know, anymore, because I have done it. And like I said, but I'm just blown away that why did they let me go? You know, like why? Because this has happened to me on numerous occasions where I've been in situations where it shouldn't have gone too well for me, but it always did. You know.
Well, one, I would say it was probably a very convincing story to kind of come up with on the fly.
Or they had other stuff to do.
That could be it too, but usually you're not walking away from a DUI. So there's I mean, dude, by law, like you don't even have to blow over 0.08 to be arrested for DUI. If the officer feels that you're not fit to drive the vehicle, they'll hook you for 23-152A and take your ass to county.
And then too, like they asked me where I was going and where she lived and everything. And you remember at the time, Ian and Jesse, they lived at Copper Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was on it was, if you go down more, it was there. So I was like, oh, they asked me, okay, well, where does she live if you're going over there? You know, they thought I was going to come up with some BS answer. I was like, well, she lives over at Copper Beach right here. It's like straight ahead and to the right. And so like everything that they were asking me, I'm not trying to justify my lying in my story, but it was just like, I did make it sound very, very convincing. Like, and I attribute it to that and a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
I really am blown away that, like, I really don't have that on my record. I think I learned my lesson then, though, because I didn't want to play with it anymore. I was like, I'm done.
That's a very delicate game, man.
It's not even, it's an unfortunate thing to call, but yeah, some people do see it as a game. Shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, not game in the sense of a game, but just, you know, like it's a very delicate dance, you know, and I know if I were pulling somebody over and they had alcohol in their breath and I let them go and then they go and wrap their car on a pole or kill somebody else in the process, I'd feel pretty bad. You know, not excluding all the legality stuff that's coming with it on my end. That's why cops should take your ass to jail, you know, because they're not going to have that on their conscience or lose their job over it.
Yeah. 1 second.
Have you ever had any bad experiences with police?
No, I never have because I've never conducted myself in a way that would provoke um provoke them in any way where they had to, restrain me. Like I've always just played it cool, like, okay. And then too, like, I tried to always remove myself from situations if I knew they were going to be escalated. But I've been in situations where it was because of other people mouthing off to the cops where now I just look guilty by association, and then they're looking at me a wrong way. And in one of those instances, yeah, I did get an open alcohol container citation. It was an old bottle too, another Bud Ice bottle. And it was old, like it was from a long time ago, but I forgot that it was in my truck and they gave me a ticket for that.
Do you have any other uh, law enforcement stories that didn't work out in your favor, or you had a negative encounter with?
No. See, here's what I was trying to say. Like I've been in situations where if I knew it was going to escalate, I would just kind of remove myself from the situation. I mean, in that case, there was really nothing I could do about it. But when I would get pulled over or cops would get called for whatever reason, I never was the person to mouth off to anybody. I just because I knew like, hey, like it's just gonna raise the odds of me getting into an altercation with somebody and possibly going to jail. So I was like, I'll just be cool, like answer them like yes sir, no sir, like no, and just give them my side of the story. And I've never had any problems with that. And the people that tell me that they've had problems with the cops is like because they were mouthing off to the cops, But other than that, like I've never had any experience with it,
What do you think about the climate that's currently going on with law enforcement and the public right now?
I mean, it's sad. It really is sad to see that people want to defund the police and all that because we do need the police. Like whether people think that we do or not, we do need the police. You know how many crazy people are out there? Somebody needs to go and handle that, because I know civilians aren't going to do it.
Yeah.
It is sad, though.
It blows my mind that, I mean, okay, I understand, I guess to a degree, the point people are trying to make when they say defund the police. However, the practicality of it makes zero sense to me because the only way that you fix the problems, and I'm not saying that, law enforcement is free of sin. I mean, there's I forget what the number is, but it's a staggering amount of cops nationwide. And, with that many people, you're going to have people that shouldn't be there in positions, you know what I'm saying? And it's a numbers game and you're going to have people, but by and large, and I know I'm going to probably catch some flack in the comments or whatever, and maybe lose a subscriber or two. So I apologize.
There's no comments. You're good.
But it's just like, I hate saying, oh, she's just, a bad apple in the bunch. That, it's that simple and it's not, but I think people are all they're like, oh, cops are showing discriminatory, practices toward, one group or another. They're demonizing one group because of the actions of a few. And it's like, dude, you're doing the same thing, that you're being the same hate that you're saying that police are showing you, which, like you're going to say, hey, you had a bad experience with the cop, therefore all cops operate in the same fashion. It's like, that's not how it is. And unfortunately, law enforcement as a whole, dude, like I don't think people understand like the job itself. People's like, oh, to protect and serve.
The pressure, though.
Well, dude, there's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like
the stress that comes with it. Like,
I mean, think about this. Go back when you were working at Lowe's or doing your the construction you were doing. Imagine being every action you take and being scrutinized by your boss, which happens pretty much at any job. But let's just say a passerby that's walking the dog also is going to sit there and scrutinize every single action you take But then let's just say, take that further. Let's just say that same passerby that's walking the dog scrutinizing your work is also going to hate, like legitimately have feelings of hatred towards you because you're wearing a tool belt that has tools. And you're sitting there, laying pipe in the ground or, doing whatever plumbers do. And to have this literal like feeling of hate towards you just because of your occupation. Nothing of your character comes into play. Nothing of your of who you are as a human matters. It's just that you're wearing your construction belt, you got your boots on, you got your knee pads on, and you're wearing your hard hat.
And fuck that guy.
And yeah, and he's a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. Him and all the guys that are working with him. Like that in itself creates like
Yeah,
like
mental weight.
dude, like, and you're just working, like you're not even doing it. You're just like, do you know what it's like, dude? Like when I go out to like when I stop at the gas station, and I don't wear a uniform unless I'm like at work already. So I'll change out, I put my shirt, my gear on before I get. But when I get to work, I'm wearing pants before I leave the house, and I'm wearing my uniform pants. And it's just like I'm sitting here, like I'm waiting. Like I've had people stop me in line, talk to me about what I do and stuff like that. And granted, it's been pleasant conversation, but everybody knows, and it's just kind of like I'm sitting there, and all these people probably have these mixed feelings about me, but they're in public and they, they're not trying to I guess be dicks about it. But it's just like I'm waiting. I'm still waiting for that one person to be like, you and all your people are the reason that all this crap's going on and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, like, I think it's deeper than that. I think as a society, there's no sense of accountability. People want to be acting like they want to go act a fool and have no recourse for those actions. It's a free country. Well, yeah, it's a free country with law. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be some sort of boundaries to people's actions. So, because like, if I let you go on and run amok, I'm violating somebody else's rights or you're violating somebody else's rights because you're acting a fool, and I don't know. It bewilders me, man, because I go on Facebook and I'll see a post about something and it'll be law enforcement related, and I'll read the comments, and people just like have this really crazy sense of like
entitlement.
No, just like the amount of animosity that they have toward law enforcement in general, dude. And like it's never, no matter what action the law enforcement officer takes, it's one of their, hey, the officer shows discretion. Oh, well, if it would have been this group or another, he would have been taken to jail or killed or whatever. Or, he body slams a guy. Oh, that was excessive use of force. Like, well, as opposed to tasing him, as opposed to hit him with a baton, which are all the same level of force. But I would rather get slammed than freaking hit with a baton. I've never struck anybody with my baton, but going through training, I'll tell you what, it does not sound like a fun gig getting hit by those things. I'd rather be slammed by that. I've never been tased, but I wouldn't want to get tased. I'd rather get body slammed. You know what I'm saying? If I were on the other receiving end of it. But it's like there's no
gray area.
There's nothing a cop can ever do good unless they don't do their job. And in which case then there's
so you feel like it's a lose-lose no matter what.
That's what it feels like right now, man. Like there's just it's kind of shitty.
But yeah, it just feels like no matter what. So you're saying it just feels like no matter what they do or you guys do, it's just you're wrong no matter what. It's a lose-lose.
Yeah, and then it's just kind of like, they want to take money away from law enforcement, defund them, whatever, right? And it's just like.
But imagine if that actually happened though. Like it would be crazy out here.
It would no. Well, I don't think they mean. Well, I'm assuming they don't mean defund completely. I'm assuming they mean take resources away so they can allocate those elsewhere.
But I'm saying like if there wasn't police, it would be an ugly place. Worse than it is now.
I would say think of the Wild Wild West, bro.
I think people would very quickly regret that decision, to remove that type of structure, in society.
Well, I think.
Have you seen The Purge?
Minneapolis, they shrunk down. If I'm not mistaken, they shrunk down their police department after the George Floyd thing took place and crime shot up through the roof. And now they're in the process of trying to recruit the people they lost and then more to fix what's going on. So it's like it does have real big societal effects. These things that people are calling for. And it blows my mind that there's actually politicians that will entertain that. It's like, dude, actually, if you believe there's this big discrepancy between law enforcement and then the public, you have to throw more money at it because police are going to need more training. Like California, I forgot what the amount of yearly training you're supposed to receive, but basically that goes to recertifying the stuff that you got certified for prior to getting in. So you're not really learning a whole lot of new stuff. You're basically keeping your certifications active that you need to have to practice, to keep, doing law enforcement. And we get little monthly training things here and there, but it's just like, it's not it's perishable skills, you know what I'm saying? And I do believe de-escalation tactics need to be, taught more frequently and, or maybe keep evolving them, to become better. But I think people need to realize that there comes a point when de-escalation tactics don't work. I've dealt with people before where there's nothing that you're going to tell them that's going to change the outcome. And I'm sure you've dealt with people just in your everyday being where things are going bad and you're trying to come to a resolution and you already know that there's nothing that you're going to be able to say to turn this situation, around. And you're like, well,
it's like talking to a drunk person. No matter what you say, it's just there's no getting through. Hard headed.
Yeah, and then but there's still a job that has to be done, whether it's
Mm.
removing a person from a thing, putting a person in handcuffs for some sort of violation, whatever the case may be. But that's it. Law enforcement is not pretty. Like when you think about it, we're literally taking people's freedom. Like
Yeah, when necessary though.
but that's what it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's not a pretty dance.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a very necessary, vital role. Just kind of like being, I guess technically they're plumbers, but like let's say it was after the plumbing was laid and someone's septic tank gets backed up, and you have to go in with your snake. And I'm like, it's not a pretty job, but it's one that's very necessary.
Mhm.
And so it's no different than law enforcement. It's just
Someone's got to do it.
someone's got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that majority of people, in law enforcement they're good natured people, and not to say that people that don't belong there make it through, because it does happen. We've seen these people on the news. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it just sucks that just like, in the military or something like that, when they're going through boot camp, if one guy screws up, they all get it. So it just sucks that for the ones who are doing their part, the ones that are screwing up are making everybody look
Yeah,
bad.
exactly. And I mean, let me ask you this: can you name a job that you've worked where you had to go through an extensive background to make sure that you're of moral character to be in that position?
No, not an extensive one. It's usually a couple pages.
No, what I'm saying is like they sit there, and the purpose of this background check is to make sure that you're of moral character, to make sure that when things are right, they're right, and when things are wrong, they're wrong, and you're not going to sit there and fill in the gaps to make it fit whatever you need to make it fit. In court, a law enforcement officer's report is basically deemed a factual documentation of a given event or incident. And so because you have to go through this extensive background, they're already giving you, Mark, you're a cop, you went to the background. What you're saying is truthful until proven otherwise.
Mm.
And they have a list of officers. It's called a Brady List. If you're caught lying in a report or in your courtroom testimony, you get put on this list, and you basically can't be a cop anymore, because everything that you put on paper is going to be scrutinized, because like, hey, well, he lied on this document, or he lied during his testimony, and no law enforcement agency is going to want to employ you because you're useless now. They're going to basically, your report is worthless. Everything you say is worthless because you've lied on the record already. You're done. I don't know if people realize this an actual thing exists. You know what I'm saying? So, and you, I was reading the comments. People were like, oh, well, that's what the cops said happened.
Mm.
I don't gain anything. No one gains anything from making up a story. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's not to say that there's officers that are out there doing stupid stuff and, making a bad name for everybody. I mean, these people exist and no one's denying that, but it's not in the capacity that everyone wants it to be.
You never saw yourself doing this though, huh? Like I remember growing up, you said you wanted to be a pilot or something.
I wanted to be a pilot. My eyeballs didn't allow me to do it. I had to wear glasses, so that was out. I figured this out.
There's very, very strict restrictions, huh?
It was 20/20 uncorrected as a minimum.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And I needed, so any vision I would have had after that, whether it be LASIK, would have been corrected, so I couldn't do it. CHP became a thing just because I knew they made a lot of money. But it wasn't like I was out there trying to save the world, so to speak. So I guess it all came full circle. I found myself in this role now, but it's I don't know, man. It's personal. I like what I do. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. It could be grueling at times, but we're a necessary force, man. And I know a lot of us are going to do the job regardless of whether or not we're liked it, and we're not there for the accolades or the glory or, all the cool points that people think come with it or whatever. But it just kind of sucks to kind of like to see a video and then go into the comments and then see people's opinions and see how like just out of place they are, how disconnected they seem to be. No, it's concerning. I think it's a big thing right now. Just like as a society, we're not doing too well as a whole.
I mean, in comparison to other countries, we're doing great. I mean, like third world countries and stuff. But like, I feel like morally, the energy right now, it just needs to change, and people need to realize that, hey, man, we're all going through the same thing. We all basically have the same wants and needs. but we're just failing to see. I feel like everyone's just against each other right now. Like no one says hi to each other no more. Like when's the last time you seen that? Everyone's just on their devices and, no one talks to each other. There's no communication anymore. Everyone's just in their own little world and everyone thinks everyone's out to get them. Do you feel that way?
I do, but a lot of intellectual people that I can't remember the guy's name right now. But a lot of these great minds are sitting there saying we aren't too far off from going backwards into not a third world country per se, but having some really, really ugly social breakdowns. Like we're not doing good right now. And to see where we've come from, to see where we are, and to see the potential path that lies ahead is not a very, very heartwarming path that we're headed down. We're going down a really ugly road right now.
Yeah, we're walking the line.
It's like, like people are finding ways to be victims of one thing or another. People are really quick to be offended for other people. People are shifting the blame from one problem to an area that it doesn't belong. It's a misplaced hatred. We're going. It's bad, dude. It's very, very bad.
Yeah, and I think the mental health aspect of that is skyrocketing too, as well as an effect of that, right? Like of the direction we're headed and all the things that we've seen, in this past couple decades, is playing a huge factor on people's mental health, and it sucks, but it is a factor, and I feel like people just don't feel safe anymore. Like people just they're not comfortable like they used to be. I feel like it's less friendly now,
I feel like it's less friendly, and I feel like people it's for me, it's scary in the sense where you can't say what you want to say because you're fearful that you're going to be
get
demonized.
canceled. Yeah.
You're going to get demonized. You know what I'm saying? And that's not how you sort through problems. You know what I'm saying? Like the ability to speak on a topic that is sensitive or controversial or whatever the title you want to give it may be. That's how you figure out. You have to have difficult discussions, and you're probably going to upset some people in the middle of having these discussions. But if these discussions don't get made, then you never address a problem because everyone's scared of offending somebody else. Or what I feel is a big factor is when I'm talking to you, I'm using you as an example, and we're addressing an issue. Let's say it's global warming. I'm not talking to you to actually fix the problem. I'm talking to you to show you how I'm right and you're wrong, and nothing you're going to say is going to have an effect on me other than me trying to rebuttal your responses. We're just sitting here clashing, but we're not actually addressing the problem as a whole. We're not coming down to.
It's just an argument at that point.
There's no
consensus.
The resolution is pointless at this point because I'm just trying to sit there and tell you and show the world how you're wrong, and you're doing the same to me.
Yeah, and it seems like there is no like general consensus right now. Everyone just kind of has mixed emotions about everything,
and that's why it's bad.
No one's on the same page. In other words,
like we need I don't know. We just need
we need the aliens to attack.
Well, it'll bring
a common enemy.
There you go. That's the thing. It'll bring people together in that sense. But I feel like for being in the 21st century, being in 2021, that we would be
know better.
We should be free. Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't be going backwards. It feels like we're going backwards. Like we're becoming more tribal.
I feel like
you got
people.
It's just like everyone's finding their tribe, whatever it may be, and they're willing to go to war.
It's high school all over again, but worse.
Rather than just like, dude, like we understand there's different people. We understand there's people that like, you want to identify as a dude or a chick or anything in between. Cool, whatever. Like it does. You don't have to force that. You don't have to force that down my throat. I'm not going to sit there and disrespect you, intentionally. But if you want to go by they or them or whatever the hell the other pronouns are, and I call you like, hey, what's up, man? Because to me, you look like a dude and it offends you. Like I wasn't doing it maliciously, but I also shouldn't be forced to call you that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's a whole other kind of worms. But I just think as a whole, dude, we're not doing too well as a society. I feel like we're taking some big steps backwards. And then we're not really doing too hot. Like there was listening to a podcast by Jordan Peterson. He interviewed this chick. She's like 20, younger than us, maybe like late 20s. She escaped from North Korea, bro.
Oh yeah, I think I seen this somewhere on. I didn't watch it though, but
And
something about somebody escaped from North Korea.
yeah, well, this I don't know if we're talking about the same person, but she was basically giving her account of what it was like. Dude, they were eating bugs to get their protein sources. Like, they had no food.
So was that movie, the interview, like accurate when they showed like the fake stores and everything?
According to her story,
Yeah.
it was somewhat kind of like that, but more like like it's worse out there. We're better here. So like whatever you're gonna see and hear, that's a lie. We're doing better here as a country than everywhere else in the world. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what they're trying to say.
So yeah, but anyway, it's like she was saying this stuff and she was talking about the stuff that we're going through right now. Like she was like, it's funny to me how people. She was like, people are upset. They're getting mad at white people for their ancestors of generations ago having slaves, but they had nothing to do with it, and they're being held accountable for this.
I forget who said this, but like they said if eagle if my eagle could land on my they said if evil could echo in eternity, so could good, right? Like how like the evil just kind of like all the things that we went, like slavery and all that stuff, if it's like still affecting us now, well, good could do the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be able to trickle down and have that effect just as much as bad can. And then too, like you said, how it feels like we're drifting further apart and there's no sense of like community anymore. It does feel that way, because you remember, like, I mean, we were very young at the time, but they say like when 9/11 happened, for a short period of time there, everyone was kind of on the same page because we felt like we were being attacked.
Yeah, we had that common enemy thing that you mentioned. Yeah,
and now that over the years that slowly faded, and people just forgot how good we actually have it here.
Well, that's what I was saying. That chick, she was talking about this. She goes, "What people are calling for right now is what I ran from South Korea."
Yeah, exactly.
Or North Korea.
Yeah.
And like, I think people forget that there are places that are still like right now as we currently sit here and talk that are far worse than where we currently are.
Dictatorship.
And what a lot of the things that people are calling for to in their mind, and they might be genuine in their approach on it, is probably going to lead to what that chick fled from. If all the things go right for
that's
in
a
that
scary
case,
thought.
And it's like we're not saying we're perfect. We're not saying the way this country's ran perfect, but
I just feel like we take it for granted, though.
Yeah, that's the point, though, is that we've been so spoiled,
pampered, dude.
Spoiled,
we're pampered
as a Western civilization, that we forget that just over the pond, there's a lot other stuff going on that we're just oblivious to, and we're concerned about. I got into this argument with the people. Again, I do this all the time on Facebook. And
do you?
Yeah, because I'll explain my reasoning.
You remember when we used to go through and like make fun of the people that would leave comments and the way they were wording it or spelling it? Like we would go through it and be like, and bash them for it.
Yeah. And so this, like, they were talking about this one lady's like, well, you got Jeff Bezos over here with billions and a lot of people with nothing, and I'm just like, nothing in life, at least in the United States, nothing is guaranteed but the adventure. You're not guaranteed to be successful. You're not guaranteed to make money. But the one thing that's guaranteed for you is the ability to try to make something happen. And if you can't make something happen here in the United States, where the hell else are you going to be able to make something happen?
Yeah, why do you think people come here to do it?
That's exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have countless programs, opportunities that people would die for to come have over here. And if you can't make it here, where else are you going to make it? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying people were dealt. Some people get dealt really good cards at birth. You don't get to pick who your parents are. You don't get to pick where you were born. Some people are born into a really good situation, and a lot of others are born into a situation that's very less than desirable. But you also hear of people that come from these less than desirable situations that prosper. And I'm not going to attribute it all toward hard work and dedication and saying that those that don't have aren't busting ass to make it happen. I think luck plays a considerable amount of a big factor in this. You just need to get lucky once. If you're putting all the work in, you get that lucky stride, you'd be surprised how far it can go. But name another place, elsewhere that people want to that are comparing the United States to, like, hey, we could be like these people, where you have the ability to have endless upward mobility in a socioeconomic class. A lot of other places, if you're born poor, you're probably going to stay poor. The kids you're going to have are probably going to be poor. Here in the States, you can go from living in a trash can to having a Lamborghini parked outside your house.
Do you think, though, that it is mostly designed for, because a lot of people say this, they feel like it's designed and set up to where the poor stay poor, the rich stay rich?
I think there's things that could be done better.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, because I know there was a thing called, I think it was called redlining. Like banks would loan money to black people back in like the 60s or something like that, or 70s, and they caught on to that, so they made it illegal. It was called, I think it was called redlining, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was clearly designed to keep people down. Good credit working people should be no different than a white person to go in and grabbing a loan for a home. But they made that illegal. Currently sitting here in 2021, I'm not aware of anything that's in existence to keep a person down. I would say it's probably, if ever there were a even playing field, it's 2021. The further back you go in history, the more difficult it becomes for groups to prosper.
Equal opportunity, you think exists now?
I would say and I think people, what they're calling for is equality of outcome. Everyone wants to be Jeff Bezos.
That's just not possible.
Or even a lesser than millionaire or billionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's like, no, dude, like, this guy saw a niche. He worked his ass off, had some luck come through, and now he's reaping the benefits for it. Has countless, distribution centers throughout the nation that are employing thousands of people. I mean, like, I'm not saying he's not doing enough for people. I'm just saying he's doing a lot more than people are giving him credit for. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that it's right just because you're rich that you're going to be forced to pay substantially more money than the next person in taxes. Like, oh, you're making more money. It's like, dude, 10% of $100 is $1.
Well, that's why a lot of people are leaving, though. California, because of
the heavy taxes.
They want to keep more of what they're making.
Exactly. You know what? What's the point?
Because it isn't fair that you make X amount of dollars, but because of that, now we're going to take X amount away.
Mm-hmm.
You should be getting what you're earning, for the most part.
And I'm not saying that there's people that aren't struggling that do not deserve to have some sort of governmental assistance, because dude, life's hard and life deals people crappy hands.
Legit.
Like, there's no denying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I would say, like, as a whole in 2021, you can't go back in time and name a period where things were as easily accessible as they are now.
No, yeah, for sure. Like, things are as good as they've ever been, and it's only, like, technology wise, like, it's not even like close to where it was 20, 30 years ago. It's like, I mean, computational power, like, statistically doubles every 14 months. So that's like, a year and some change, right? So, I mean, the way that it's headed, technologically speaking, is we're headed in the right direction, but it's like people forgot, because of technology, how good we actually do have it. Like, we just take it for granted, and it's like there's nothing left to do but go at each other now, and people are just taking that route. It's like they're looking for an argument. People just want, for whatever reason, I just feel like people are just so easy to pick fights now.
Like, let me give you an example. Last week or the week before last, I read an article on ABC. This high school kid from, I think, Kerman, he graduated. He got his associate's degree before he graduated from high school, while working a full-time job to help his parents or his mom or whatever. High school. This kid working a job full-time to help pay bills, going to school, and then taking college courses. He had his associate's degree before he even freaking graduated high school. Like, sure, that kid's probably one in a million, but he's an example.
But it shows you what's possible.
Exactly my point. You know what I'm saying? This guy wasn't sitting there, oh, well, my parents were born. They don't have a lot of money, so boo-hoo me. This guy saw, like, hey, I knew that the next couple years of me doing this were going to be very difficult, but it was very necessary. And this dude, he's going to be 19 years old, 18, 20 years old when he graduates with his degree, and I forgot what it was going to be in, but I think agriculture. But it's like, dude, like, look at this youngsters doing it.
But I feel like that's not instilled in society as much as it needs to be by any means. Like you said, most people will just lay down and be like, oh, poor me, right? And so instead of looking at the situation like, damn, I've got this hand that I was dealt and it's not very good, but I can make something out of this if I really, really try. And most people don't look at it that way. I think a lot of people look at situations in the wrong light. Like people are so quick to play the victim before they actually try and make their hand work. You know?
Yeah, and then and I think another thing too is people get caught up on instant gratification.
Oh yeah, yeah. People just think that you're gonna go from this to that, and there's no in between.
There's not a long,
Yeah, there's no rough terrain.
or there's not it's not a quest to get from the starting point to the desired end point.
Well, you've
you
seen
know?
Pursuit of Happiness, right? When he's talking about that part where Thomas Jefferson is like, how did he know how to put the pursuit part in there? You know, because that's exactly what it is. It's you're pursuing something, and by definition, on the way to pursue, it's a journey. You know.
Yeah, and so I think people get caught up like, okay,
I think it's like you're gonna
tomorrow,
teleport.
tomorrow I want to wake up and I want to be, rich, or I want to be in a better financial situation.
Do you think people really think that though? Like it's just gonna happen without having to put the work in? I mean, logically, like you think somebody's just sitting back at home and being like, "Damn, dude, how come I'm not a millionaire? It should have happened already." Without putting any work in, like you have to like at some point know.
I think not maybe that to that degree, but I do believe that at least to maybe a lesser amount than what you just described, people think it would be easier. Maybe not just I should be a millionaire. It should be easier to have been done. And to me, I think it's very, very obvious that people think that way because we wouldn't have the amount of people saying the things that they say.
I think people just lack the amount of knowledge or the amount of work. They don't understand the amount of work that it actually takes to achieve something. I think they just lack the bigger picture. In most cases, people think just because they made a song, they should be a famous rapper. It's like, no, you got to put in this amount of work and do this, and that. They failed to see that for whatever reason because it wasn't taught to them or they just didn't do the research in a lot of cases.
I think it has a lot to do with us being as in like, Western culture, United States in particular. We have it well. Even if you're in, poor here, you have it well compared to a lot of other places worldwide. And so I feel like people forget that get that's like, what is it like? I'm struggling to find the words to put it into. We're spoiled, and it's like, well, hey, Mark was a bedroom producer and now he's, a millionaire and Well, I'm doing the same things he's doing, like, and
But that in a lot of cases, that's how it starts. A lot of people, they started from the basement, Like, I don't know if you watch Shark Tank, but a lot of those people started in their garages and now a few of them are billionaires, and they're well off, multi-millionaires.
But because you did it and I'm doing it, therefore it's assumed that I'm going to follow the same path that you are.
Yeah.
And it might be, I think luck is often a thing that people overlook. I think successful people forget that luck plays a role into their success, and they just attribute it to their hard work efforts, and therefore if you don't make it, it's your fault and you didn't put enough work in to make it happen.
So do you think that if luck does play a factor, then for sure being unlucky is a factor too, right?
Yeah. So people get dealt shitty hands. I've said that a couple times today. Because like, listen, let's say the only difference on paper between you and I, or there was no difference on paper between you and I are going for the same job, but you were a slightly nicer suit than I did, and the employer or the potential employer liked your suit, but you had no knowledge of this. I like blue suit with brown shoes, and I wear, brown shoe with gray pants or whatever. But that slight little difference, it was lucky that you had that particular combination of clothing and you got the job instead of I. That's luck. We were both well dressed. You had no knowledge of that being a factor, and that was the reason that you got the job. Hey, you guys I need a reason to pick on. This guy was well dressed. I like it.
Well, I would feel like, I mean, there's different types of luck, but I would say more of like you're a great painter or something like that, and you just need that one break, and you're at a restaurant one day for whatever reason, you get up to go use the bathroom, and at the same time you're using the bathroom, you see, a CEO of this big distribution company for the type of artwork that you do, and you happen to chop it up with him, like what are the odds of you actually crossing paths with somebody of that stature, and in that position of power? And sometimes it happens like that.
Mm-hmm.
That type of luck does, sometimes that shit does happen too. But I don't know. I mean, luck can present itself.
No, but that's my point, is that was nothing that you or I had any control over.
Yeah. It was just,
And
it
that's
was
my
just,
point. Is
you're
that
lucky.
is that people forget that it may be a factor they weren't even aware that played into their hand, but it's a factor nonetheless that you or I had no control over, and that because you wore that particular combination, or it may that or maybe that the interviewer was bald and I'm bald and he wanted to give another bald guy a job, but on paper you know what I'm saying, there's any number of things that could have played, but people often forget that. And so it's like, well, I busted my ass to be in this position, so therefore the only reason you're not successful is because you didn't bust your ass.
But it doesn't mean you can't get lucky in other, in some other field. So you just got to keep trying.
Yeah, you just got to keep. If you don't keep up the grind, you're. I would say the likelihood of you finding those luck moments are going to start to dwindle.
Well, yeah, you
have to keep. It's like the thing with lotto. You don't win the lotto if you don't play.
well, what did they say? Like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
My point exactly. But that's also you standing out there saying "boohoo me." That's you saying, "Well, this didn't work. I got to find another
But
one."
that is the biggest problem that people have.
In my opinion, yes,
it is the
it
biggest
may
problem.
be coming from a privileged position, but
Yeah, but the writing's on the wall. A lot of people are just so quick. They want the handout.
I would say yeah. But again, I can hear people saying like, "Oh, well, you grew up with this, you grew up with that, and so your situation was different than mine, and you were set up for success more than I was." And to me, you can't deny that because some people are born to rich parents,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously they're going to have a massive leg up. Not even if their parents aren't going to give them money, but if your dad's a successful CEO, I'm pretty sure he's going to pass down the wisdom.
But I feel like all this shit is just I feel like it's a big giant puzzle and all the pieces need to be in place, you know? Like there needs to be the rich guy and there needs to be the poor. Like it's a yin and a yang thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a time and place for everybody and everybody has a specific part that they have to play. And I feel like we don't realize that we are just this big organism that kind of works together.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that we can, if like that dude has a purpose, just like you have a purpose to affect somebody else's life, either negatively or positively, depending on how you view the situation, right? But I think we can all help each other. Like if we really like just sat back and took a minute to realize, like I've said it before, like we all just want the same thing, and some people have the power to make that happen for other people, you know? Because no one, like some people, yeah, they do it alone, legit, but for the most part, it can't be done alone a lot of the times.
In my opinion, it can't.
You need help, dude. Like it's just sometimes you need that helping hand. And I feel like also that's another thing that people fail to see. And it's sad because if we had just more positive thinking individuals, it'd be obviously a better world. But unfortunately, everyone's just so quick to think negatively.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree.
I've been on that side of it too, though, where I'm just like, man, shit, this would happen to me. You know, and a little bit of that is because of bad luck. You know, but again, it's like just because that happened doesn't mean that I can't do something about it to change it. You know, because I could have easily just started because of what's going on with me. I could have easily just been like, man, I have the perfect excuse to just fuck up my life and become an alcoholic and just live off the government forever. You know, and I could have easily gone down that route. You know, because I have the excuse. But I'm just like, you know what? No. Like I'm gonna do everything that I can to make sure that I can be successful as well. You know, it doesn't mean that I'm throwing in the towel. You know, and a lot of people just so quick throwing the towel.
Yeah, throw in the towel and then quick to judge others that are doing better.
Yeah, like
know
the
what
ones
I'm
that can't be happy for others.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, well, you only did that because your parents were rich, or you only did that because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, yeah, there's no denying that probably played a factor, but I don't think it's as big of a factor as you're making it out to be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then what is as a person supposed to do that is born into these lucky situations? So I'm not take the help.
Yeah, I remember we both know who this individual is, but we had a friend growing up that was pretty, like his dad was pretty well off. But I remember like kids used to hate on him, be like, "Oh, you're just a rich boy and this and that," and like I remember him saying like, why are you hating? Like, why are you hating? Because my dad's successful. Like, why would that be something that you hate on? You know, and it sucks for them, you know, because they didn't ask for that. You know, they were just born into it. Like, what are those people? You know, where do they lie? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's their mentality? It's not their fault that their dad worked his ass off to make sure that his kid had has a comfortable life.
And then exactly, it's what is he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, I don't want to have an unfair advantage in this race, so I'm going to go ahead and not ask you for any of your help, whether it be financial or your experience in your field. I don't want to pick your brain on any of that because I don't want to have a no, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I would be stupid of somebody to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Again, I guess we're just having a little philosophical rant here, but that's why I think we're not doing too well, man. Because there's a lot of people out there that that, without saying it, in my mind, they have an expectation of somebody like him to be like, I'm not going to use any of the opportunities that my father busted his ass for me to have because it's a leg up in the race, and I don't want to, be more successful than somebody else because of my upbringing.
Well, also though, I feel like a lot of people that are successful, for whatever reason, either it's just laziness or stubbornness or just selfishness, but a lot of them they don't relay that knowledge that they've attained over the years, and that formula. They like to keep it to themselves, like a recipe. You know how like restaurants they have a specific recipe for like the McDonald's sauce, like whatever sauce goes in there that makes the burgers taste this well. Well, a lot of those people don't want to give away that knowledge because it'll make somebody else successful. And I feel like it's the same thing for like it should be passed on. That way we can all be successful.
To some degree, I believe that's
tools.
If you came up with it, then it should be yours to do with it what you please.
But I have enough tools to be able to pass. I don't have to give you my whole.
Sure.
You don't have to do it like me, but I do know how to get there.
You know what though, honestly, man, I would say to me that's less of an argument today because if you go onto YouTube.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the guys that I've been following, if you guys want financial pointers, Minority Mindset. This guy's literally walking you through how to take yourself from an everyday working class person to being a very successful, possibly rich person. And he's giving you the tools that I'm sure he's used himself to do this. You can type in anyone, whether it be that. I got guys that I follow for barbecuing purposes that are teaching me all of their stuff.
Yeah, how do you think I learned how to do this?
That's my point. So I would say that that's less of an argument today.
But still, I feel like not enough people do. Like they're really quick to brush you off. You know? But you do got me there. Like the information is out there more than ever. Like it is very attainable now. But there still are those individuals that are reluctant to help others, and I feel like that's kind of what we're both. That's like what we're meaning to say here is like there's not enough people willing to help each other.
Yeah, that's probably the case. But then again, I don't hold it against them either for not wanting to. If it cuts into their profit line, they came up with the idea. It's their strategy. If they don't, they shouldn't feel obligated to do so.
Well, I'm not saying like give me your business and like give me your exact business model, but here's the tools to go do your own thing.
No, exactly. Like, I mean, Warren Buffett, I'm sure he's written books on this stuff and a lot of financial people that do this. So, I mean, the information's out there. I think it comes down to people might being scared to want to start the journey. They don't know, or because I'd say at least in our current time, there's more than enough information available at your fingertips to get a starting plan together. It's not going to give you an exact point A to point B route, but it's going to give you a vague outline of where to begin. Where 20 years ago, if you didn't know someone in the industry, it was going to be hard for you to figure it out.
Put it this way: you're walking through the desert, and you're stranded, and you're all alone, and you don't know which way is west, east, north, south. None of that. You're just wandering aimlessly. Wouldn't you give anything to just find an on-ramp that leads you in some direction?
Yeah, and I feel like
that's exactly. It's not gonna take you there right away, but here's a starting point. You don't have to be lost anymore.
And I feel in our current time, we have more than enough beacons of direction.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many avenues. We're not walking aimlessly in the desert anymore. We don't have to.
We don't have to. Exactly.
And I don't know if that contradicts what I was saying about not enough people are willing to help, but I still feel like there is that group of people who are in higher power, who could make a pretty big difference in this world with the amount of money that they do have. But like you said, it's not on them. But I feel like we should all come together, puzzle pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, there's more than enough info out there for people, man, to do something.
But there's always room for improvement.
Oh, in every situation, there's room for improvement. And I don't think anyone that's worth their weight in salt would say otherwise. It could always be better. You know, and I think that's fundamentally where a lot of people that are disgruntled are coming from. But it's just like the methods in which you're trying to obtain that don't make sense, and it's not fair to those, like that are in a better position to be forced to do something because you have yet to figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you don't got to do anything. Like, you're not like, this is a country where you're not forced really to do anything if you don't want to. Just because you have the money to do it doesn't mean that you have to. And I feel like that's where people who are less fortunate feel like they're entitled, for that. Like, they feel like they should be given a piece of it, when in reality this person made it happen for themselves.
Yeah, and probably busted ass along the way to make it happen.
Yeah,
Again,
we forget like how, like, we just see the millionaire. We don't see all the sleepless nights that was behind that to make that happen.
Exactly. Like, and then, like I said, there's always in my opinion, there's always going to be a thing of luck that plays a vital, pivotal role in that success. But nevertheless, these people just have this crazy drive, and I think they said somewhere of like 95% of all entrepreneurs or millionaires were self-made. They didn't come down from a rich family member prior to them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, Trump's an arguable case, right?
Yeah, but he would fall in that 5% that fell in the 5% that came from money. But they said 95% of millionaires are self-made people. They found an area that needed something and they provided that service or good or whatever it might be.
Yeah, they saw a problem and they provided a solution.
And then now they're reaping the benefits for it. You know what I'm saying? So Trump would fall into that 5% that came from, a rich family.
Well, what he did was he just kept doubling up and, he knew what to do with that investment, which a lot of people don't. Because some people will invest $100 and turn that into $1 million, They just, with enough knowledge and...
See, he probably gained that from his father, who was probably successful. So that's another advantage, whether his father says, hey, you know what?
Luck. He got lucky.
Well, that's my point. Is like, maybe his father... I know he did get money, but let's just say his father didn't say, here's a loan of $1 million or whatever his little saying was. Let's just say his father's like, you know what, dude? I'll pay for your schooling. I'll make sure that you go to the best schools, but you're not going to get a dime of this money. Because there are people that are out there like that. But I'm going to give you the opportunity and I'm going to give you the knowledge that I've obtained to become successful, that I will probably never, ever come across these people face to face in my life. Therefore, I'm not going to have that same advantage in that regard. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like, too, like people that do get lucky, others view them as a bad person. It's just like, dude, they're not, just because somebody got lucky, that doesn't make them a bad person. That doesn't mean they're any less talented.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, Jordan Peterson said this on one of his things. He goes, people often hate, like, they could tolerate the Trumps. Well, you were born into it, whatever. These are the ones that people often dislike the most, are the ones that became successful and they started in a similar area as you, because now now there's a comparison. Well, damn, they were in the same boat as me and they're successful. I'm not. So now I don't like him even more because he's making me look bad, or they are making me look bad. He or she's making me look bad. I was like, yeah, think about it. Cause you could dismiss, he's like, yeah, rich people, they were born that way. They came into it or whatever. I could dismiss it, but you actually went out and busted butt to make it happen. And I'm like, well, yeah, him and I were from the same town and look where he's at and look where I'm at. And, it's easier. Now I have more of a reason to not like you. You know what I'm saying?
All we're saying is that if you work hard enough, something could come of that. We're not saying it will, because you can bust your ass and nothing happens.
And yeah, and there's plenty of people in the world that are like that.
But try it again, and you never know. That just don't get. I mean, the moral here is just don't quit.
Don't quit, man.
Yeah, don't be a quitter.
And then when that window of opportunity presents itself to you,
recognize it, and
jump on it.
Yeah, you gotta capitalize on those opportunities, because I feel like this is so cheesy, but like the Eminem thing, like you could miss your shot if you don't recognize it.
Yeah,
I don't know what the fuck he says, but like it's something along those lines,
dude.
But if you don't recognize your opportunity when it's presenting itself to you, and that can be in various forms, and sometimes very, very hard to spot if you're not looking for it or paying attention. You might be oblivious to that opportunity, and that might have been the one that's gonna.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure there's no statistics to support this, but I'm sure you say like luck will present itself to you one time in life, and you better be ready for that opportunity when it shows its face. I feel like there's probably luck shows its face in many different times, but You have to be looking for it.
Mhm.
You have to be looking for that. And it might be something that's like, you're looking for a job. Dude, I know the manager.
Mhm.
I could, no. Let me talk to the manager. And then who knows, that might catapult you to be the next branch manager making $100,000 a year. Or it just might lead you to meet somebody else that's going to lead you down a completely different path, and you're going to otherwise have some great success from it.
That's what I was talking about, like the bathroom incidents, like if
Yeah,
or the
exactly.
elevator incidents where you run into somebody who just happens to be in this position of power that aligns with what you want to do in life,
Mhm.
you know?
And let's just say that it happened at a business meeting that you had for a job that you had, and I knew someone that was able to get you into that job, that led you to that meeting, that led you to that restaurant, that led you to that guy that you met in the bathroom that was an art distributor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, it happened for me with this thing, you know? Somebody left, unfortunately, and it gave me the opportunity to do this with you.
mhm.
You know, who knows where this will go,
And
I'll-
point exactly.
you know? And it was just luck that, I mean, you had me at hello.
Aw.
We're going to end on that, dude. It's been an hour and 15.
Sounds good, bro. Sorry for ranting the whole time, guys.
No, it was cool because I didn't have anything in particular that I actually wanted to talk about today. Like I said, I haven't been feeling good. So you took the reins on these ones. So thank you.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of the PO3 Podcast. If you enjoy the content here, and this is going to make you not want to subscribe, and that's fine. You can unsubscribe if you want. Because
I don't want you to, but if you do, we
if
get
you
it.
want, go ahead. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, drop a comment. Don't forget to wipe your butt. And then
Wipes too. Those come in clutch.
get
in
up a
summer.
day. Yeah, if you feel like
Get up a day.
if you feel like you've gotten any value from this, please subscribe to the channel.
And if you have anything that you would like to add, please in the comments down below, hit us up. And or even if there's any topics you'd like us to cover, you know, we could probably put something nice together. And just let us know. Talk to us. Give us feedback.
And remember, it's not always as bad as you think.
Good way.
But anyway, this has been another episode of the PO3 Podcast. We hope you guys have a good week and hope you enjoyed. My name
Stay
is Marcus
sexful.
Marks. Yeah. Did you say sexful?
That'd be cool too. No, stay successful.
Yeah. Become successful. There's really no way to end these things.
Like that.
Haters, fool.